Yeah, I mean, well, we're hearing from young girls about their experiences all the time, which are horrible. Like, but they actually sort of feel like, I guess that this is just inevitable.
Mm,
Like my colleague Melinda Tankard-Reist and
mm,
Daniel, they go into schools and they speak with young men and young women about their experiences and about porn culture and navigating that porn culture and online and just a really sort of sexed up world. And just the stories are getting worse and worse that we're hearing from girls, like in terms of their experiences of grooming and harassment and assault, and just sort of feeling like this is normal, and even feeling that
mm.
they don't have any right to say no. So it's a real big problem. And we keep talking about consent as if consent is some like silver bullet, like, oh, well, we just need to teach boys about consent and then everything will be fine. But when you live in a porn culture, like, if we're not addressing the role of pornography that is so mainstream that boys are, you know, participating in and consuming from the youngest of ages, if that's what they're watching and that's what they're, masturbating to and over
Yep.
years, like if we're not addressing that and we're not addressing the content of the porn and how it is so degrading to women, how it's
Yep.
sexualizing men's violence against women and painting women as though they want it and they like it and they enjoy it.
Yep.
Like, so if we're not
Every
tackling
time.
pornography,
Yeah.
yeah, then consent education by itself is basically meaningless. So,
Yep.
but I keep hearing that we just need to teach about consent. But how many of these guys, like, they don't, it's not that they don't know you shouldn't try and have sex with a woman who is unconscious. Like, it's not they don't know that, they just, porn has made it sexy,
Mm-hmm.
like, to
Yep.
violate women's consent, and it's all about the taking and the conquest. So
Mm.
yeah, it's very much, we need to be tackling pornography. We need to be tackling these really harmful messages about men and women and sexuality and power. Like, there's so much to unpack. And yeah, I really think it's not going to happen without a frank discussion about pornography. And in Australia, we actually have had some success on this, because after some years of campaigning from Collective Shout, we've now had the Australian government agree to implement pornography age verification, which means that, well, it's one way of sort of preventing children under 18 from being able to access pornography. Like, it's not going to be the solution to everything,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's one important step. So I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah. Thanks for the answer. Great answers and good questions. Which actually, this is exactly what I think you just said. Would Collective Shout ever tackle the single button issue where, in order to see porn, a website only has to put a single "Are you 18 plus" button? I'm like, I don't even know how you could tackle that because it's so like every porn video. It's like, how do you? I don't even know. I mean, that's probably not the best question because it's
Yeah.
so.
No, I mean that is, yeah, it's totally a ridiculous concept that the only barrier to children accessing porn is like to click a button. Are you 18?
Yep.
No, yes. Like, and
Yep.
that's that's supposed to be
No
like
one's
age
watching them.
verification.
Like what? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've
Especially with
seen,
the
horrific
appeal or
stuff.
lure of, ooh, what's behind the door? Of course you're gonna lie. Give me a break. You're a kid. You're
Yeah,
a
and
curious
kids are
kid.
just, they're naturally curious and they just,
Mm-hmm.
so obviously, I mean, that shows as well the interests of the porn industry. They're not concerned
Yeah.
with protecting kids or say, oh, this is just for adults or anything like that. They're concerned in getting their next lot of consumers. Like, it's a
Mm-hmm.
business. This is an industry. Like, they're not looking to
Yes.
be ethical here. They're not looking to protect children
Just like
or the women
Etsy.
who are
Yep.
involved. Like, yeah, it's about money. And so we can't
100%.
expect them to take any sort of responsibility there. Well, it has to be a multi-pronged approach. We need the government to be stepping in, and that's where age verification comes in. And we need parents to be, vigilant, but parents can't do it alone. Like,
Yeah.
if there's really nothing, no barriers to your child accessing pornography. I mean, you might have all the filters at your house and on the devices and the rooms,
At
like
school.
the rules at home, like the computers in a public space, or no devices in
Mm-hmm.
rooms, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But your kid could be exposed to porn at school, like on the school bus. That's what we're hearing,
Yep.
or at a friend's house, or at school camp. So it's not enough for parents. Like, we can do our best, and we are doing our best,
Yeah.
but there's only so much you can do as a parent without wider support. So that's where we need the government to step in. So we are really hopeful that age verification will help, but we need it sooner rather than later, because
Yep.
every day we wait, more kids are being exposed to porn and damaged by it and traumatized by it and acting
Yep.
out on other kids. So, like, it doesn't have to be this way. We can actually sort of step up and do something about it. And we've just been so laid back all this time, like, oh, whatever, like,
Yep.
it
Till it happens.
happens.
Yeah.
And it's just, how can we do this to our kids? Like,
I
it's
know.
just been such a complete failure to take any responsibility in the interest and well-being of children.
I think it's deliberate corruption. I think it just is pure evil, taking the sweep over the planet.
Well, the sex industry has
Obviously.
has a lot of power in Australia. It's really a well-oiled machine here. So, and I have heard of occasions
anywhere,
where,
man.
yeah, where I guess politicians, some of them are beholden to the sex industry because they have been customers of the sex industry. So there's risk for them to be going out publicly.
I forgot what website it was. Some well-known organization that was like, "Oh, it's okay to use porn to, like for sex education for children." I'm like, "What?" I can't remember who that was. There's just too much crap that I read.
I do remember something about that actually. I can't remember who it
Not
was
ACLU, but like
either.
UNICEF or something crazy.
Maybe.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but just this idea, like, it's completely disconnected from the reality of pornography. I mean, imagine saying it's okay to use the filmed abuse of other women as sex education. Like, that's what we're talking about. It's just so disconnected from the reality. This is what it is. This is
Yeah.
built on male dominance and female subordination, vulnerable women being used and abused for men's sexual gratification.
Yep.
And it's racism and it's misogyny and it's linked to sex trafficking and fueling sex trafficking, and so much of the time it's also child abuse, and it's non-consensual. It's all these things, but the idea that we just totally decontextualize and just say, oh, pornography as an idea could be good for sex education. Like, and what is pornography educating? Like, what is it teaching? It's not teaching consent. It's not teaching safe sex or mutual or respect-based sexual relations. It's teaching male dominance and female subordination, and that women should enjoy and submit to violent and degrading and humiliating sexual practices. So really, like, how is this helpful to be encouraging that as sex education?
I don't even know, honestly, besides it being obviously pure evil and corruption of children and youth and whatnot.